My Ladyship, CJ, Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, My Ladyship, the Deputy Chief Justice and Associate Justice of Supreme Court, I will try to waltz and do very fast because I'm short for time. I will mention the judge who asked the question and I will give my answer precisely. Justice Ouko asked the question that 33,000 votes, there's a variance of 33,000 votes between governor and president. Nothing could be further from the truth. The variance between the presidential and the governor is 24,000 votes. The same can be accounted for stray ballots. He asked the question, what are the stray ballots all over the country? We have to look at all those ballot boxes to get what are the exact stray ballots in those. But I did a bit of analysis and I've attached the analysis in Kibra and in Makadara. It is 2 per polling station. And the beauty about this is late last night, I also ran an analysis on the scrutiny report that we were given for the 18 polling stations, the report of the registrar. It exactly tallies. The stray ballots, even for that, it's actually 2 per polling stations, even if you looked at the scrutiny report. That gives you a figure of 90 in the whole of the country, shared between the different ballot boxes. You cannot be able to know how the exact number of them, but that is the average. So if there's a variance of 10, 20,000, that's within, but anything way above that, you know, that cannot be accounted for by the 92,000 becomes very problematic. And I think I have attached that, and if that could run, the court should look at that. So it's 2 per polling station, 92,000, which is accountable. So if there's a variance of 40,000, 50,000, then the court can question that. But anything within that range, that is within the normal range. The second question that Justice Ouko asked is, do you have any instances where voters walked into polling station and voted for presidential only? No, we don't have. The integrity of the ballot is very important. If someone comes into our polling station, we give him all the 6 ballot papers. He can do whatever we want with them, but he cannot go out with them. He can put it in the boxes, he can mark them, but he cannot. That's why we're able to account for either through the rejected or the stray ballot. So to the question that someone can vote for one candidate and leave the others, it's not true. It's actually, the regulations don't allow. It's a criminal offense for someone to get out with ballot papers or election material from the ballot box. The second question that has been asked is, Justice Ouko said the voter turnout, you say that there were 45,994 polling stations, out of which 46,299 polling stations were identified through KIMS. So only 235 were identified manually, out of which 6 did not have any election taking place because of violence. 229. I think the number you are interested is how many people voted manually. 86,889. 86,889. And the registered voters in those polling stations is 114,917. 114,917. 114,917. The interesting thing is we provided all the KIMS return. If you look at the affidavit of Michael Ouma, we provided all the KIMS returns. So you can check the KIMS returns as against how many people voted manually. Justice Ouko also asked a question. Justice Ouko asked the question that that is the number of the 86,889. Those are the people who voted manually. So the integrity of this process is very important because the other ones can be accounted for by the kids, right? The second question, Justice Ouko said, Omtata says 1,665,412 people curiously voted for when the polls close at 9. I think this is a faulty analysis, and you really have to understand how the kit works, right? So when you open the polling station, the kit sends a message that we have opened the polling station, we are ready for action. People pass through it, it sends automatic returns. It pings to the nearest network, sends automatic returns over the period of time. If it's not able to get the network, it will keep that information for the next 2 hours. Yeah. So that is how the number changes. The polling will close, but some KIMS will be sending the people, how many people went through. And it's only when we know when all the KIMS have transmitted and we know how many people have voted manually, that you can be able to look at that, to look at it. So polling ends at 5 p.m. There are areas that voting commenced on 6 a.m. on the next day. Some places in Eldas, KIMS reported happens once the network, once it has network and it requests to connect. So I think it's a false analysis, because he says at 5 p.m. we should have known the whole turnout. It's not true. KIMS will keep on giving that information. Just Eleonora asked the information about whether the Form 34C is captured in JPEG and what happens to it. I humbly want to donate a KIMS kit to the court, a training one for the court to see itself. I have given a dummy form, a training Form 34A. I have also given the password. The court can take the picture and actually see what happens. The kit takes the image, and it's on the image that actually the conversion happens on PDF. We don't do any JPEG, and there's a reason for that. In fact, if you look at it, when you are taking the image, it will ask you for the QR code, whether it is proper. It will ask you for the gray scaling, and you will see how we do it. And we do for JPEG, because all your phones take JPEG. We want to differentiate our image from the ubiquitous images of JPEG. So that one I want to, through the registrar, I want to donate to the court to see it, a live demo. Justice Wanjala asked the issue of turnout of 65.4. I want to tell this court, at paragraph 30 of the affidavit of the chairman, that clarification was sought and it was given. And the chairman, and there is a video to it actually, the chairman clarified, and he said the turnout is not 65.4, it is 64.6. In fact, you will see Martin Nyaga rushing to the chairman, telling him, the person who was in charge of the cumulative of the turnout, telling him, no, that is erroneous. So the number is 64.6 at the point where he made. Is turnout really important in the declaration? I want to tell this court, there is this fascination by the petitioners on turnout. We don't use turnout to determine the presidential election. I think that is the base to start from. The reason why we give turnout is a measure of transparency and integrity, to know how many people pass through the kit. And the problem with it is a lot of people don't understand how these kits work. If you look at the numbers I gave on that screen, you will see, in fact, if you look at 2045 hours, 63.6 and 64.6, you will see that the total registered voters on 9th August 2045 is 21 million, under the KIMS 589,961. On 10th August is 21,926,565. If you deduct those numbers and you compare to the people who are actually identified by the kits, actually the people who are identified by the kits is more than this number. And a lot of people will say, oh, why do we have more people who are registered in those stations than people voted? It happens. And because the relationship between the people who are identified in the kit and those total number of voters in those polling stations is not a linear relationship in this sense. So 9th August 2045, a kit will report 10 people. So we'll say 10 people have been identified in those kits, but the number of registered voters is 700. We will add in the total number of registered voters. You reached 10th August 240. That kit has already given its maximum registered voters in the original reporting. But people will keep on passing it. When another 20 people pass through, the kit will report 20 people have passed me through. So we will say the voters identified under the KIMS has increased. But we don't increase the registered voters in those polling stations because it is already reported. So the relationship is not one-to-one. And you have to understand, and this is the confusion that is coming, we have to understand, the only way you will know the total registered voters is when all the KIMS have reported. So when all the KIMS had reported, because this is a snapshot of that information in time, when all the KIMS had reported, the voter turnout was 64.7103. So what was remaining that time? Only the manual voters. How many? 86,899. So it's good to understand that, because if someone just looked at this information, you will come with all manner of confusion. So the kit will report, once one voter passed through the kit, we say one voter identified, but the column of registered in that polling station we put 700. But the voters will keep on going through the kit. So as people go through the kit, we'll keep on increasing the voters identified in that kit, but the number of registered voters will remain constant. The issue of the Venezuelans, they were involved in deployment of infrastructure and the servers platform. they did not have any access to the RTS. Look at the affidavit of Michael Ouma. Look at the affidavit of Hilda Kavongo. It actually shows the kind of rights they had. There was no unauthorized access, and in fact, the scrutiny report will bear that out. Did the postponement of elections in those counties only affect presidential voter turnout? I have indicated that is a hypothesis that has been laid out before the court. It is not borne out by the data. In fact, the voter turnout was comparatively the same. If there's no agent, Justice Mulu asked, if there's no agent, what happens? The integrity, the processes that we have in terms of the KIM's return, in terms of the portal, even if there's no agent, we can actually confirm what happened. So it's not the role of even if someone said I did not have an agent, but my votes have been tampered with, we can be able to find out. Demonstrate, I have, go to the last page. In the 40 seconds, Madam CJ, I can demonstrate that. If you look at that form, that is a form, the agent copy. If you look at the second last one, where it starts from demonstrate, 34A. Please. So look at that form. So side by side, it's the agent copy and what is in the portal. We have marked all the places that what is wrong with that form. What is wrong with that form? If you look at the elevation of the camera, same. If you look at the IEBC logo in the background, both images, same. If you look at the exact paper fold in the bottom left corner of both images, same. The image is brightened to show that it has undergone editing. That's the top left is dark. The agent copy is in JPEG. The form is uploaded on our form is uploaded on the portal 10th of August 2022 at 2 days. Actually, you can check all the edits.
Sorry, Counsel, you are not being recorded, but we suggest that you take the next 2 minutes and finish. Please put the machine back. You're about the end, right?
Yes, I am to the question that Madam Chief Justice and the President of the Court asked. I gave two examples. If you can just go back, I think I'll start with the first one. The 185, yeah. If you can go back.
We'll give you 5 minutes, see what you can do with it.
Yes, yeah, thank you so much, Madam CJ. So what we did is we just took the form they provided us and we juxtaposed as against what we have. And we've marked all the places what is wrong with that form. And what is wrong with that form? If you look at the QR code, up on the left, on the right, and also on the left, the QR code, it's cropped similarly in both pictures. The IEBC logo underneath the document coincides with what was the pressing officer. It's actually an impossibility. I've given you a form to take a picture, and what you are producing me is actually underneath the logo of the document, the IEBC logo that the presiding officer was using. So I've given you your form, you're taking your picture for your agent, and you're using the same that the IEBC PO was using. Both photos are taken from the same elevation. I believe the court has ICT experts, and in fact, you don't need an expert to look at this. Look, the margins cropping are the same, which is really amazing. Look at the margin cropping for both of them. And there's no any other conclusion. What people were doing is that you will download, because there's no way you can be able to get our forms are different, and this form has gone through many processes from the polling station, county tallying, constituency tallying center. So the forms are ubiquitously available. They are available everywhere. The only way you can be able to do anything about it is you have to download our form and try to do tamper with it, what the agents in this case were doing. If you can go to the second one. This is the one I was describing. In fact, this one has, it even has the timestamp of their form, JPEG. We don't do JPEG. This form was relayed to them 2 days later. The elevation of the camera. And I have noted all the things that are wrong, the exact same poll. It's an impossibility. I mean, you have 41 polling stations all over the country, and the form they are giving is at the same elevation as what we have given. The picture that our PO took on the background of the Kim's kit is the same. And you can tell, and the reason why we were saying that it's an impossibility is because there's nothing else you can change from those forms. You cannot change the signature of the agents. It's an impossibility. The only thing you can change is the tallying. You can try changing to JPEG and try to amend the tallying. And that is really important. That is the crux of this matter, and the court has to look at that and actually make a finding. I will try to also, to Justice Ouko's question about the stray ballots. I just want to mention that the court report bears out the assertion of the IEBC. If you look at the report that was done relating to the stray ballots, I went through the court report and actually tallied the stray ballots. It is 2 per polling station. If you project this to the whole country, there will almost 90,000 stray ballots. And the way you account for stray ballots is they are put in the polling day diary, PSD. I have provided the polling day diary for 2 of the constituencies to just give the court comfort that as IEBC we can account for each and every ballot. To the question that has been asked by Justice Wanjala on the turnout, a clarification was given, and this is the assertion of the petitioners. They are saying we are not interested in the clarification given by the chairman. We are going to take that turnout of 65.4 as against the total registered voters. Okay, then come to the conclusion that there are votes that are unaccounted for. And we are telling him that is not how we do it. Okay, turnouts, we give the number of people who either have passed through that kit at a snapshot. Okay, and there's nothing much about it. The declaration is made on the actual physical ballots that we count. We count the physical ballots. After counting the physical ballots, we tally it. Madam DCJ asked about the rejected ballots, whether they are different from the rejected. So the way we calculate turnout refers to the number of people who have passed through that polling station in the 46,229 polling station in the Republic. We have not even reached the issue of rejected ballots or anything. It's how many people appeared that day. So we have a number. Then we do the counting. After counting, we get rejected ballots. So how do we determine 50 plus 1? We will say, okay, what are the total votes cast? And we will refer to the 2013 and 2017 decision of this court that said rejected ballots are not a choice of preference and the same have to be removed. So the idea that turnout is affected by rejected ballots or doesn't matter, it's just a measure of transparency. And you have to understand how the reporting of the KIMS happens for you to be able to do. We only give what we can at the time, and we'll keep on doing that. With those